All right, guys, so it's another day, which means that we have another embarrassing apology from Whoopi Goldberg on The View, because this lady, it seems that she steps in it, right, every few months or so, where she says something that she eventually either has to retract or just outright apologize for, okay? And boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, the irony is strong with this one, okay? Because if you remember, Whoopi was having a meltdown just a few days ago about Mike Pence and his alleged homophobic joke towards Pete Buttigieg when he made jokes about Pete Buttigieg being on maternity leave.
Pence claimed Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg took 2 months of, quote, maternity leave during the nationwide airline crisis, which makes Pete the only person in human history to have a child, and everyone else gets postpartum depression.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I will point out that this joke wasn't funny when Tucker Carlson did it. It wasn't funny when Lauren Boebert did it. It's just not funny. It's just not a funny joke. So was this a bad joke or a homophobic slur or both?
I think Pence has been a champion of paid family leave, so I think that's what was an issue for me with it not landing. So he knew there was paternity leave.
That's right. That's my point.
But I do want us to be careful of, like, I don't want us to turn into the snowflakes that we criticize where, like, it's a joke. It's a poor joke.
No. Hold up. Mm-hmm. Those guys are snowflakes.
No, I know. I think we need to, like...
But the point is, it's a joke that was bad 4 other times. It didn't land for any... It didn't work for anybody. It's a terrible joke. And that's why I say, for me, that's lazy, because he does know better. He does know what the correct words are. And you want to make a joke... you can do that. But when you go to something lazy that hasn't worked, and then you pretend you don't know, and then we're trying to figure out what you're doing because you're saying something finally we're thrilled to hear you say, it just makes me think you are too confusing for me.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Full-blown meltdown over a joke, okay? It's homophobic, it's a slur, such and such and such. Like, it's just like, bruh. Again, this is snowflake stuff, okay? You are offended by something that is very trivial, right? It's a joke, okay? And he made that joke at a place where, again, you're supposed to make jokes. Now, there are consequences to this, okay? There are consequences to this type of fake outrage, snowflake culture that, hey, it really promotes censorship, right? You have to walk on eggshells when talking about anybody or using certain terms or phrases, and Whoopi Goldberg was the victim of that, ironically, just a couple days later, in which she ended up using the word gypped when talking about Trump, okay, when going on a Trump derangement syndrome rant. She ended up using the word gypped, and apparently that offended people and warranted a apology from Whoopi Goldberg for offending people by using that word gypped, which apparently is a ethnic slur.
Believe that he got, gypped somehow in the election, will still believe that he cared enough about his wife to pay that was gas. To pay that money from his personal thing. But I just don't understand. If that was the case, then why all the subterfuge? Mm-hmm. Why is Michael Cohen paying for it if it's just,
because he admitted he did it. And
Michael Cohen was like, that was some hush money.
But he could have said this back in 2016. He could I'm paying for this to go away. It's not true.
We need to do this legal note.
Okay.
Do this legal note. Oh, my God.
A few moments later.
When you're a certain age, you use words that you know from when you were a kid or you remember saying, and that's what I did today, and I shouldn't have. I should have thought about it a little longer before I said it, but I didn't. And I should have said cheated, and I used another word, and I'm really, really sorry.
Yeah, again, I think that's hilarious, okay? Especially in the context of all the apologies / retractions that Whoopi has had to do over the past few years. Because she just says very ignorant things. but I do think that is at the point where it's like Whoopi should realize that she is kind of a cause of her own problems, right? All the retractions, all the apologies she's had to make, but yet she comes out here and promotes this SJW culture, okay, or this PC culture when it comes to language and words that you can't say, terms that you can't say, and she's a victim of it, right? So again, she spent 2 days ago ranting about Mike Pence using allegedly what is a homophobic slur against Pete Buttigieg, right? Ranting about, oh, it's just a bad joke. It's just a bad joke. It's homophobic and such and such and such and such, right? Basically, saying that, hey, he can't use this language, trying to police jokes. And then lo and behold, just a couple days later, she has to issue an apology for saying a slur herself, right? An ethnic slur, which apparently is gypped. I didn't even know that. Right, because I used to use that word all the time. You got gypped, right? I mean, I feel like as a kid I used that word all the time. Now, there's no particular reason why I don't use it as much as I used to use it in the past, because I didn't know it was a slur. I didn't know that, it was referring to gypsy people, right? I had no idea that that's what it was a reference to. I still don't really know, right? It's just, to me, this right here is a prime example of the pendulum swinging the other way, right? When you push hard for censorship, when you push hard for PC culture, okay, trying to police speech, trying to police language, eventually it comes back for you, because everybody now is a victim. Everybody now has the right to say, hey, you can't say this, you can't say that, because I'm offended. I believe what you said was a slur, right? Again, this comes from, so many different movements. I mean, it doesn't matter. Pick whichever victim group you want, right? Let's pick the transgender folks. I did a video yesterday about this guy going off in a restaurant, going crazy because apparently misgendering is a slur. It's a slur on the same level as saying the N-word. That's a slur. And they say that as a way to police language. That's the whole point. The whole point is to keep you from being able to say what you want to say. And again, Whoopi Goldberg in The View, the cackling hands on The View, when they get outraged by silly stuff like Mike Pence making a joke about Pete Buttigieg going on maternity leave, what they're promoting is ultimately a cancel culture or a censorship culture that is going to come for them. Because again, now everybody has the right to say that because I'm some victim group or I'm part of some type of victimhood group, therefore, if you say something I don't like, I'm offended, I can make you apologize, right? I'm going to get outraged about it. And it's just funny how these people have been the biggest victims of what they perpetuate, right? Again, look at Whoopi and her comments about Jews, right? That she continues to kind of double down on and then turn around and apologize for, right? You would think she would have learned after that, but apparently not. Apparently not. Again, this is what happens when you promote PC culture. This is what happens. This is the end result of being too woke, right? This is the end result. When you're too woke, when this is wokeness going too far, you can't speak, okay? Nobody will be able to speak. That's the end result. That's what happens. That's exactly what happens. It ends up coming for you. Eventually, at some point, one of these cackling hens has to get the axe, right, in regards to their job, okay? They got to get fired. How many times do they have to issue retractions and apologies on this show before they realize, hey, these people are a liability, right? These people are a liability for us. They're going to get us sued, or they're really going to, discredit this show in themselves, which I don't understand how they haven't already. They should have, but, I'm just saying, constant retractions and apologies, eventually at some point, the show will just have no credibility whatsoever, even among the liberals that still watch it, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.